What's up everybody, and welcome back to another daily video. In today's video, we're taking a look at the brand new 2020 Kia Telluride. Massive thank you to Keffer KIA for providing this car for today's video. I have the link to their website down in the description below. Definitely check them out. They have a huge selection of all the new Kias, even all of the new 2020, so definitely check them out. And the model that we're looking at today is an LX V6 front-wheel drive, finished off in gravity gray, and has an MSRP of $33,000. Underneath the hood, this features a 3.8-liter V6 engine that produces 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. The engine is only paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and on this particular model it sends the power to the front wheels. However, all-wheel drive is available. And with the front-wheel drive model weighing in around 4,100 pounds and having an 18.8-gallon fuel tank, you can expect to get 20 miles per gallon in the city and 26 on the highway. This new SUV has an overall wheelbase of 114.2 inches with an overall length of 196.9 inches. We have an overall width of 78.3 and then a height of 68.9 inches. This is also a pretty capable third-row SUV with ground clearance at 8 inches, a front approach angle at 17 degrees, and then a departure angle at 20.9 degrees. This also has a towing capacity of 5,000 pounds and a turning radius curb to curb at 19.4 feet. We get disc brakes in all four corners with 13.4-inch ventilated front rotors and then 12-inch solid rear discs. The front end of the new Telluride is really elegant and classy looking. It has a lot of muscular lines and a bold appearance overall. We get LED daytime running lights and projector beam headlights, as well as your turn signals down below. We even get functional air vents on each side of the bumper to help direct air into the bumper and out and around the front wheels. There's a large center grille in the lower portion to allow more cooling to the engine. The traditional Kia shaped grille up above with chrome trim on the top and bottom. Nice looking Kia badge in the center. The large mesh design in the overall grille gives it a pretty unique look and really makes this vehicle look modern. There's a brushed aluminum lower portion of the front bumper, and then wrapping it all up, we have Telluride written out in the front portion of the hood. Along with the emblems, the hood also has some really sleek lines coming through the center, really helping to give this thing a modern appearance. Has a very wide appearing overall front end, just giving it a really nice look. And then making our way to the side profile of the vehicle, we have LED turn signals built into the side mirrors, and then chrome trim along the lower sections of the doors. The window trim has a really unique design for the vehicle. You can see where the front and rear doors meet. The lower section kind of goes up a little bit, just giving it a unique look. And then coming along to the rear end of the vehicle, the window trim gets a little bit thicker for the third window. We have a clean body line running through the center of the car, and then coming to the rear taillights, they have a nice appearance going from the tailgate to the side fenders. This also features 4 parking sensors in the lower part of the bumper, your standard rear backup camera, Telluride written out just like on the hood, all of your badging along the rear end, and then a top-mounted spoiler. So that is a quick look at some of the specifications as well as the overall design of the new Telluride. Comment down below, what do you guys think of this? This is Kia's big third-row SUV. This is a brand new car for this segment. I think they did a really good job. Just looking at the overall design of the vehicle, a lot of sleek lines to it, and it flows together really nicely, just making this something different. It does not look like your typical SUV in this class. I really like how Kia made this car stand out amongst the crowd. Just has a lot of cool design aspects, and then one really cool body line, might be hard to show up on camera. There's a cool indent right here on the car. But now we're gonna go ahead and hop on inside the Telluride and see what the interior is all about. The key fob that you get for this is really unique looking. We have the lock button right on the top, unlock, your liftgate button, and then your horn. This has a full black leather interior. We'll go ahead and start up with the door panel. Nice black leather portion along the armrest. Some brushed aluminum colored accents. We even get Telluride written in the speaker. We also get a cup holder and some storage in the lower portion of the bumper. All of your window controls, lock, unlock, and mirror controls. And as we make our way into the vehicle, we have manual controls on the side of the seat. We get some gray stitching along the side. Really nice feeling black leather with perforated leather in the centers. And then coming around to the steering wheel, more black leather. A lot of your audio and Bluetooth controls are on it. And then now inside the car with my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and start it up. On the left side, we have all of your Bluetooth and audio controls, and then coming over to the right side, we have cruise control settings. You can scroll through different things on the center screen, your lane keeping assist, various settings. You can just scroll down through right here. Door, light, sound, many other items that you can go ahead and change. And then you can go back to your fuel economy screen. Then over here we have your blind spot alert, turning that on and off, your lane keeping, traction control, and then to adjust the light intensity of the gauges, a nice looking air vent, some black leather along the entire dash with a nice line of stitching. Then we get to the infotainment screen. Has a really cool look to it. We can go through many different things, hitting radio, media, your different tracks, and then over on the right side you hit your home button, and this is the home screen you get. You can go to all menus and see many of the different things like your phone, Android Auto, quick guide, radio, and a few other things. If we look at the rear climate controls, you can adjust how everything's going to look there. And then going back, we can actually go to a quiet mode, which will actually mute all the speakers in the back, but keep the front ones at a nice level. That way if you have kids in the back sleeping, you can still enjoy your music. And then hitting the stars, your advanced settings, a bunch of other things. You can have different presets for your steering wheel button. If you only want to go through USB and iPod, you can have those checked without your actual radio. And then if we put the car into reverse, the backup camera pops up. Has nice graphics overall and guide lights on it, so you can place the vehicle pretty well. And then back into park. We have your volume on-off on the left, and then tuning on the right side. A large air vent in the center here, and it's actually 3 different vents, which is a really cool touch. There's a nice aluminum color along the entire dash, more of a brushed aluminum feel to it, and then a smoother one down below that. We have more of the climate controls in the lower section. You can change your fan speed very easily. Then you have your zone, temperature, all the different zones and air conditioning. And then some storage down below with the USB port. We get the leather wrap shift boot for the shifter and all your different gears. And then down below we can change the driving mode, just turning this left and right. We can see what it looks like up on the screen. We have your smart mode, eco, comfort, and then a sport mode. And then down below that, we have the auto start stop feature, parking sensors on and off, your auto hold for the brake hold, and then your electronic park and brake. The center console also has 2 grab handles, which has a nice look to it, some more storage, and then 2 cup holders. And then to take a look at the center console, more black leather on the armrest, and then a nice amount of space in here with a removable bin. And then to take a look at the glove box, we have a nice amount of space in there, as you would expect. But overall, really cool looking interior, pretty clean setup overall. The seats have a nice look to them with the black leather. And then up on the ceiling we have your sunglass holder and all your dome lights. And then now to take a look at the rear end of the car, go ahead and open up the door. The door panel is finished off very similarly for the rear occupants. We get a whole look at how the rear seating is. Already just looking at it, there is a ton of space in this. This is their jumbo SUV. We have storage pockets behind each seat, cup holder, as well as a 12-volt outlet. And there's even a USB outlet on the side of the seats, which is a really nice touch. If you go ahead and press this button right here, that folds it forward to get easy access to the third row, which we'll check out in just a second. And then these seats do recline and slide forward and back. So let's go ahead and hop on inside. If you're buying the Telluride, obviously you're buying this because it has rear seats and a third row seat. But already in here, there is a ton of space. I have like a foot of room between my knee and the seat. I have the driver's seat set to my height, which is 5'11". You can also see how my feet have a ton of room back here. Definitely a really, really roomy SUV. And actually looking up here, we have climate control vents in the top, which open up nicely, which is a really good touch. You can open and close the actual vent. We have climate control buttons all on the back side with your fan speed, temperature, and different zones, and then really large dome lights. And then back to the fact that these are reclining seats, grabbing the recline lever, I can push this way back and I actually have a lot of space. You can go on a really long road trip in the back here and fall asleep nicely. But then we also have the center that folds down. We get 2 cup holders and then a nice armrest overall, but really, really roomy back here. This is definitely a family SUV. No shortage of space in the second row. Let's go ahead and hop on in the third row and see what that's like. And with the second row slid forward, you also get a nice footstep right here to get in and out. But just stepping inside, pretty simple to do, especially with that seat forward like that. And then when you're back here, there is a pull cord that you can pull and recline these even more, just to have a little bit more comfort in them. But already sitting in them, it's pretty comfortable. We can go ahead and pull these seats back. I still do have footroom. Of course, this is kind of cramped in the third row. This is meant for more of smaller children or if you just have to use it in a pinch. But my knees actually barely touch the front here. My feet fit under it nicely. This model is the 8-seater configuration. You can also get a 7-seater, but for 8 people to fit in this car, you could have at least 2 full-size grown adults in the rear seat, maybe a smaller child in the third seat here. But pretty usable overall, as you can see. We even have cup holders on both sides, USB outlets, and some storage. So overall, pretty good. And then we have a button right here. You can fold that nicely and slide the seat right out of my way. And then to take a look at the storage area for the Telluride, there's a handle right here. Go ahead and open up the lift gate. You can see how the third row is set up. I had this left one reclined as I was sitting in it, but really easy to fold them down. All you gotta do is pull the handle and the headrest folds down and then the whole seat will fold down nicely. And then with both seats flat, you can see just how much storage area you do have in here. Everything folds nice and flat. This also opens up to reveal more storage space. And this actually goes down a lot deeper than you would expect. It's like 7 inches deep right here. And then if we go on the left side over here, we have a button for each second row seat. Just pressing those, these seats fold down nicely. And now you have a lot of space back here, all flat, no bumps or anything weird in it. So this is definitely a very usable SUV, not only for a lot of people, but for a lot of storage space as well. Alright guys, so we are now in the brand new Telluride. I'm going to take this out for a drive to see what it's like. Already the view out is really nice. Visibility, so easy to see out. You have a huge windshield up front, and then all the glass along the sides and the rear end of the SUV really make it to where you can see pretty well. And then just slowly going through the parking lot here as we get to the main roads. Slow speed stuff is normal, you know, it's not a sports car or anything crazy like that, but for just a vehicle to cruise around in, slow speed stuff like that in parking lots, really easy to navigate, and the steering is very light, just making that sharp turn there, really easy to do. And then just sitting at a red light here, have the climate control on. Really interesting to have the 3 different vents in the center. You don't really see it on most cars, which is nice. The driver and passenger can each have 2 dedicated vents, and then the center one can kind of go wherever you like. It could even help get the third row even more air, even though they have climate control, but that's just a nice touch. But so far now driving, going about 40 miles an hour, the suspension is so soft. It's absorbing all the bumps. There's really no wind noise or road noise or anything. It's really isolated feeling, even taking a sharp turn now. You know, there's a little bit of body roll, of course. This is a third row SUV, like we said. You know, it's got some size to it, but just taking it on some sharp turns, the vehicle feels pretty composed. It doesn't seem like it's all over the place. The 8-speed transmission, I'm not even noticing any of the gear changes. So it's doing everything it needs to do just to drive the car really comfortably. So we'll just get up and go a little bit, see how the engine is. It's a 3.8 V6. You know, no slouch in performance, up to 55 right there. I mean, that didn't even stress at all. It was barely 4,000 RPM. So then now just cruising along the road, like I said, it's comfortable. There's no noise, which is so impressive. I mean, I can barely hear just a little bit of rolling noise. Other than that, there's no noise whatsoever. The overall layout I'm really impressed with. I like how there's not too many buttons. You can adjust all the settings on the large screen really easily. You don't have to figure out where you're going with any buttons. And then the few climate control buttons down below here, and the dials, super easy to use again. And then the overall layout of the dash, the gauges and everything like that, really easy to use. So now with a few more miles on the car, just going over the comfort side of it, because this is a daily driver. This is a family SUV. You're going to go on road trips with your whole family, bring a lot of stuff with you. It's a vehicle you can get comfortable pretty easily. The seat has a lot of lumbar support in it as well. The base goes up your leg quite a bit, so you are sitting nicely into the seat where you don't feel like you're uncomfortable or anything. And then touching back on the rear seats, the second row seat is impressively large. This is not the biggest third row vehicle out there. It's not a Suburban, something crazy like that. But for being Kia's largest SUV, a lot bigger than the Sorento or things like that, you have more space than you need in the second row. So much legroom. I could literally fall asleep there on a long road trip and be perfectly comfortable. The third row is also pretty impressive. Not too many third rows have a lot of space. They're really never full-size seats for 3 grown adults or anything like that. They're always a little bit compromising. These ones are, of course, smaller than the second row, but sitting back there, having the second row set up to where I would sit in it if I was sitting in the second row was perfectly fine. I actually had legroom and footroom and headroom back there, and then having the amenities with a couple of the USB charging outlets and everything like that. It's a nicely appointed third row seat, which most cars, again, don't put that attention to detail for a third row. Even with the third row folded up, there's a nice amount of space back there behind the seats. And then, of course, when you fold the third row down, there's a lot of space, and then with the second row down, there's even more space. It's almost the size of a pickup truck with all the seats down. So I think Kia laid out the vehicle very nicely. Overall fit and finish is really nice to see. Everything fits together nicely. The buttons look good. Everything has a solid feel to them. There's not cheap plastic feeling to anything. It feels like a high quality vehicle. And then the overall looks inside and out. The interior is very sleek looking, very clean overall. The exterior doesn't look like other cars in its class. They did a good job differentiating this from the other vehicles, giving it its own unique aspects. So I think that about wraps up taking a look at the all new Kia Telluride. What do you guys think of this new SUV? I think overall they did a really good job on it. It has a ton to offer. Once again, massive shout out to Keffer KIA. Definitely check out the link to their website down in the description below. They're getting all the 2020 Kias ready to go for the new year. They're already ahead of schedule with having 2020s on the lot, but massive thumbs up to them. Don't forget to give the video a huge thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. See you guys next video.